In the early days of the college, there was doubt in the community about the role that Essex County College would serve to help the community, whether it could make it and strive and thrive. And we have more than proven to the community, to the county, and to the state that we belong and can be a major asset to the progress of the people that we serve. The early days of the college was at the old building at 31 Clinton Street. We had elevators that worked sometimes. We had a crowded environment there, but it was also a fun place to work. The chance to work with students who come in here with plans to do something good for their lives and to grow in their education, and especially their wish to help other people, have impressed me throughout the years. And now I'm meeting the students who are the children of parents and grandparents who have been here at the college and have gone on to get their bachelor's degrees and their master's degrees and their doctoral degrees.
You have to remember, community college idea was brand new in New Jersey. This was not something that had been particularly done around here before. And so we knew we were writing courses to basically address the first 2 years of a 4-year curriculum. And we were starting out in that direction. But of course we had lots of discussions, because what happened was we started up at Beth Israel Hospital at Osborne Terrace. They had a building there. And we met there, and our job for the first month before the college was ready to open was to write the courses. So for instance, in English, we were writing things like English 101, English 101. Obviously, we weren't ready for 102 yet. And lots of passionate discussion about what should be in that course and the courses to follow, and where we would be going once things were up and running. When we moved into 31 Clinton Street to start classes, of course there was no air conditioning. So in warm weather we had the windows wide open, and if there was jackhammering going on outside, we were trying to shout over jackhammering. You couldn't close the windows, because if you did, you couldn't breathe. We had, in the winter, the windows rattled every time the wind blew. So that was a big, interesting thing to anticipate. You never quite knew what was going to happen in that building.
My recollection is about how fabulous this journey has been. Being at Essex has been such a growth, inspiration. I've developed colleagues as family. I didn't develop them. Students adopted me as their father. Even now, many of them come and say, you have these kids, and what have you. And the biggest thing about it is that so many of them are now back teaching part-time for us. I have at least 5 who are now teaching accounting. So I guess I must have inspired them in some way or another. And so that's why I'm still on this road, that because I can touch a life and make a difference, especially when a student gets a degree or is employed by someone and say, look, I started out making $90,000. I say, okay, you did better than your professor did. Or particularly when one says, look, I got a promotion, and I was one of those who didn't do well in grade school, who got in trouble, who was incarcerated, and now got a degree, and now I'm doing this. And so that's what inspires me to keep going, keep doing this. Because my motto is that if you teach, you'll touch a life forever. Amen?
Well, nobody expected it to last 8 months back in 1968, and here we are going on 50 years. I came in July of 1968 before the school opened. School opened the end of September 1968. We put together a bunch of guys. Some of them had never played soccer before. Put them together, made a team out of them. We played our first game the first week of September. about 30 days before the school officially opened, and we beat NJIT. I was the first soccer coach. That's a living memory, to win your first game before the school actually ever opened. I get an awful lot of satisfaction getting the children and the children's children of my former students. Well, I hope we're good for another 50 and another 50 after that. We're going to be around a long, long time. There is a need. Essex has always been committed to fulfilling that need. The needs may change over time, but I think Essex will come through.
Well, first of all, it's a blessing and a privilege to have been a part of these 50 years as part of the greatest opportunity center in this community, Essex County College. And we opened just after the riots. The riots took place. Newark looked like a bombed out city. Springfield Avenue looked like it was rubble, and there were businesses that were folding, and crime was rampant. But Essex opened in 1968, and we will never forget that first day when the dean, whose name was Richard Downs, when he came forward and he used a theme that Essex is an affair of the heart. You know, a decision had to be made, and Dr. Mary Birch, a former board chair, an educator in this city, and for which our theater is named, but it was called a Malcolm Davis Commission, and they had to decide where in the county the college would be placed. Community College Act had been passed in 1966, so it was between Newark and Verona. And the other two voted for Verona, but Dr. Birch said it must be in Newark where it's needed. And that was her great contribution to this community. And we have to go forward. I may not be one of those, but this ideal of servicing the educational and the counseling needs of this community goes on. So this 50 years later, it's not the bricks and the mortar. We're very grateful for the facility, this campus, all of its offerings, all of its equipment, all of its computers. But the greatest is our commitment to this community. As we move into the second 50 years, I hope everyone takes that charge. We're going to do all we can in all the places that we can, for all the people that we can, for just as long as we ever can.